We're trying to figure out a phone number.
Hey, Lloyd, did you put me out?
Calling in with the number.
For 805407300. You let us know who that is. I can't chat.
You can chat?
I can't chat a phone number.
Oh. Hey, Lloyd, did you kick me out?
Yeah, it's a different meeting than the one at.
Oh, I clicked on
Yeah.
it. Okay.
That's Mike Good's mobile.
Is it Mike? Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we're ready.
Yep, we're ready.
Okay.
Okay. So if are there several online? Okay, and if you want to speak, go through the chat line and let us know, send your comments, we'll catch your comments and we'll open it up for somebody to respond to the comments as we go through it. So first of all, I think we'd like to, next slide. Next slide. We'd like to approve the prior month's minutes.
Okay, the prior month's minutes from November 15th. We can post it. I'd call for any, is there any comments, edits, corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'd make a motion for the minutes to be approved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So be. Can't see that. Can't see the notes that are up here on the board. Apologize. I'll get up here. So during the executive session today, we approved the annual operating budget. The management team has done a great job of presenting the budget. It includes all our priorities. It's been a challenging with on the budget with the inflationary challenges, make sure we provide competitive salaries and make sure that we're on track for delivering our long range objectives. And we've been able to do that and maintaining the budget within a 5% increase. We will publish the new rates and dues and fees that meets up with the budget, and we'll talk more about that. We have a full staff this year. They've worked really hard during 2022, and I just wanted to make sure that we recognize the team for putting together the budget, the hard work they've done, the challenges that we've had, and it's just a sincere thank you for a great year this year. Club's really doing well. The team's pulling together, and it's just been a pleasure to work with the team and the board, and we look forward to 2023. We are in a full cap membership of our 300 member cap. We're operating within that 5% margin between 300 and 315 that we want to sustain. We expect to be at a 315 cap within the top of that 5% by the mid-year. And we will be creating a waiting list if all things go well. It's a great time for members to be reaching out to their friends and saying, hey, you might want to think about joining the club. It's a good time. And we would anticipate initiation fees going up. So consider getting your friends and associates to join the club at the time. Our social memberships is another great success story this year. Word's getting out. Food and beverages is doing well. Just the hospitality and our memberships are growing and it's supporting all our food services, which makes it even better for our activities. I have my phone ringing in my ears. January will be a busy month with all the improvements that we're working on with the Manor House. We'll talk a little bit more about those, but we have the HVAC and we have some repairs to the sewer lines, and so you'll see a lot of activity around the Manor House here in January. Couple of actions the board's taken. We have reviewed our key performance indicators, kind of monitor our progress, our long-range goals and our strategic planning. And we'll be reporting those to you on a quarterly basis to see that we're making on progress. Nate and I have been reaching out to kind of the other large organizations within the Perry Park, including the Metro District, the Water District, the Fire Department, and the new Perry Park Ranch owners, and trying to work collectively with them and see where we can work together and coordinate our activities to enhance all of our members' experiences. And it makes sense just to kind of work together, just kind of keep aware of what's going on with we got some new growth, new homes coming into the area. And so we're trying to work together to work, make that work collectively. That's kind of what I have. We'll talk about some new key decisions, Marvin, or things that actions we've taken since last
board meeting. Okay, during the month or the end of the last meeting and the beginning of this one, the board has approved 3 new memberships. Congratulations, Lana, on bringing those on board. In addition to that, they approved some additional expenditures in December based on our projected year end. That was completed in December. We've approved, I'll call it a consolidation and some minor changes to the fiduciary policy, the G&D charter, and the house charter. In addition to that, we've approved the 2023 budget. And 2 items the board took but are not yet approved, but they recommended moving back to the membership committee, a discussion on the military discount to include increasing the classes eligible, as well as the amount of the discount. And finally, moving forward with drafting language to be circulated for all members to vote on for a change to the bylaws or corporate memberships to be able to move to a centennial membership class. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Harvey. Mike?
Okay, just gonna do a quick update on where we're at with poll number 18. We have a little bit work left to do on phase 2. It includes completing the construction of the switchback path to hole number 1 T-box. And as you can see there, Jason has made some progress. You've got it kind of roughed out, cut in, but they need to continue finishing the work in that. The additional work related to phase 2 is the installation of the bunker stand. And to top dress the new sodded apron with sand, both on the surfaces and the seams. So Jason, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, that's it, Mike. You got it pretty spot on. Just weather dependent on a lot of those things.
Okay, so that will wrap up phase 2, and then phase 3. Oh, this is the picture, recent pictures on the left and on the right. Some of the exposure of some of the trees, which if you've been out there, if you've seen it, it really looks pretty amazing. We're really creating a visual out there that I think is outstanding and capturing some images of some of our resources that we haven't always been able to see. So I think that's a great job doing that. And then the phase 3 project needs to be done. And this is kind of the sequence that Jason has outlined of what they'll do. They'll go out They'll remove the existing irrigation system that's on the island. They'll then remove and stockpile topsoil from that area. Install erosion control, which is critical to be sure that we don't have any concerns, that the county is happy that we're making sure that we're doing it properly. Then they'll shake the chipping and putting green cavities and the bunker cavity on the island. From there, they'll install a new drainage system, install a new irrigation system, replace the topsoil, then sod the chipping green and seed the putting green. You want to explain why you're doing it that way?
So really, Mike, the benefit to sodding the putting green was captivating and utilizing the sod that we salvaged off the existing 18 green. And in the event that we hit weather delays in the spring, that'll allow for that chipping green to function as a secondary putting green until the putting green itself is grown in from seed.
Excellent, good. And then for the cart paths and the cart parking, and that will represent phase 3. And I'm sure people are gonna ask, when do we see as the timeline for when we anticipate these phase 2 and phase 3 to be complete?
I'd say phase 3 hopefully to be completed midsummer and open midsummer.
Okay, however, when will we be looking at phase 2 and the opening of the 18th hole?
So weather dependent, hopefully by Memorial Day. That's our target.
Okay. Got it. And then the number 1 tee box is going to start being used.
We'll be able to utilize that as soon as the season opens.
Great. Okay. That's the update on 18.
All right, Lori, you're gonna talk a little bit about the November results. We had a great month. We had some awesome food and beverage events, parties that put us up over budget. Excitingly, at 34,000 ahead of budget and 39 ahead of our forecast. We're hoping that December will be above budget also, and we'll end the year ahead of where we thought we were going to. This month, we saw 15,000 more in sales in food and beverage. Like I said, for the whole year, they're at 100,000 more in sales, so which has been great. And you can see that food and beverage is pretty close in line with their budget. Chef and Kevin have had to manage a tough year of cost of goods and also pay for staff. So those expenses have been managed well. Something also really important to point out, we have with capital dues and I fees for the year sent 725,000 over to capital. And we have a nice balance coming in to the end of the year that will help us support those HVAC and the finishing of 18 in 2023. We saw a little bit of pro shop activity for guest fees and cards, as we had a nice November and December. It's been somewhat that same way. And membership, of course, in October, 20 new social members. And when we think about social members, they're paying 65 and dues caps a month. But when I increased that starting budget number for 2023's budget with her 20 sales, ended up giving us 12,000 for the year in just dues. So that's really good. That's a huge change to our budget when we're looking at bottom line of $70,000, right? Really helps us every part of it. So for right now, we have ending November at 162,000. And we do project a loss in December, because that's how these off-season months go, but we expect it to be better than budget. That was November. Let's see. Dan, do you want to talk about the budget slide? Or do you want me to? Yeah,
You're gonna do that? I thought later you were.
yeah, we have a plan, so I'm gonna cover this one really quick. Thank you for the board members' time and the director's time in putting in this budget and working through what this could look like for projecting 2023. We're going to budget a net income of $74,000, and we have operating revenues growing at 5.1%. So We're at 4.5 million in revenues. We're seeing a dues increase. Nate's gonna go over the fee schedule here, so a little more details. 4.8% for full golf member, prorated for all other areas. We will continue the elimination of outside play, except for the tournaments on Mondays. We have cart passes also going up and single cart per day rate going up also. Our expenses grew 6.7%, higher than the revenue, but we're still able to give ourselves a profit for the year. We are hoping our initiation fees are gonna go from 67% to capital to 85%. It's a growth, one day we'll be at 100%. And it's awesome that we have sales above our budget, because then that is more that goes to the capital fund. But in order to make this budget work, we settled on the 85%. We have some expenses that we felt like were important. 12% increase across the whole club and payroll. We're keeping key staff members. We have a minimum wage increase over $1 issued by the state. Of course, we can't fluctuate in that at all. And then we do a good part of helping out the employees who do take our health insurance coverage. We have 17 full-time employees, but about 10 or 11 take the coverage here. And this year we covered the cost that was passed down from the insurance company. It is a small expense of $6,000 to a club that really helps out the employees not to have $50, $100 taken out of their paycheck more a month. So I was happy to see that approved. And then we have some more time for expenses and for course people to be here year round, do more improvements and get that staffing right also. So that is our budget in a nutshell.
Questions online?
Are there, nope, okay. Nate's gonna talk about the fees. A little bit.
Thank you, Lori. This is what everybody's very concerned with, obviously, and we're not immune to inflation. Everywhere else you're going, everywhere you see it, inflation's happening. So to not have a dues increase last year was fantastic, but we really can't foresee this for the long term, obviously. So 4.8% was the agreed upon number. We kept the golf membership monthly dues under 500, which is, I think, was a big accomplishment, looking at all the ins and outs of the entire budget. So we were really happy with that, to keep it under 5% and under $500 total for the golf dues. Food and beverage minimum, that it will be staying the same. Your quarterly food and beverage minimum. So $175 per quarter. You can kind of see the annual range ball and social membership, annual cart passes below that. And if you can't see this, if you're online, if you're not being able to look at this, we will post this in all media website, Fairway Views, and on our weekly email for probably the next couple months. So everybody's in the know on this, so we can over communicate this. But golf ball membership for the max ball fee is staying at $250. The social membership for max ball staying at $500. Annual cart pass, single family, and annual private cart fee will increase. So we're seeing that from 2022, $935 for a single, jumping up to $1,000. Family going from $1045 to $1125, and private cart fee going from $630 to $650. We didn't feel like the increase was as significant, or it shouldn't have been as significant as the other ones, because you as members are maintaining that cart. We're not maintaining that, so we feel you're doing us a favor for doing some of that. So appreciate that. You can kind of see the social membership, your dues will increase as well. We wanted to keep that consistent across the board. So 50 is jumping up to 52, obviously very minimal there. Food and beverage minimum also staying the same. And our guest fees for golf will be increasing by $10 per weekday, weekend fee. So going from 85 to 95, and weekend from 99 to 109. And we feel like that is still extremely competitive compared to a lot of the other courses around the area. And we're below a lot of the market. So we feel really good about that number as well. Cart fees will be increasing though as well, going from $22.50 to $25. for a 18-hole fee, a 9-hole fee going from $11.25 to $12.50. And that's kind of consistent across the board, as you see that 9-hole and 18-hole fees going up. So like you said, increases, but very minimal in a lot of regards, and feeling very good about where our budget sits. And kudos to Lori and Dan for putting the time and effort into this to make this all come together. We're seeing a great promising 2023 and great staff coming back. So I'm excited. Thanks for making this last 5 months for me great. So any questions online or in the room?
Okay,
I do have.
no questions online?
Next up is our featured employee of the month. I feel this individual really has gone above and beyond, especially in the last 5 months since I've been here, coming into a new operation. Joey and I have a chance to meet every week, every day, sometimes every hour. We have a great working relationship and works great with the entire team, extremely familiar with our manor house. He kind of keeps everything in check and making sure that we're doing the right things at the right time. You can kind of see a little bit of his history here. Native, right? Native of Colorado, fantastic. Got a degree from Rutgers in turf golf management, and favorite aspect of Perry Park is the atmosphere. Feels like we have a great family, and he is very integrated within our club here. So if you see him around, thank him, appreciate what he brings to the club. And also, fun fact about Joey, woodworking. He's had some award-winning bowls that he's created from wood at the county fair. I have not seen these, but I've heard they're legendary. So you might be able to utilize those around the club with some fixtures from time to time in the future. But Joey, would you like to say anything?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, for everything. It's been going on season, so it's been really enjoyed working down on the course, and really enjoyed working in here in the clubhouse also.
Yeah,
because it keeps me occupied.
you said it trying last couple of months, but we're getting the ship on the straight and narrow. So thank you, Joey. Appreciate everything you've done for us. Huh?
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Hello, everybody online. This is Keith, and a little update on what's going on in the world of golf there in GT&H. Quick note on Joey, though, absolute rock star. Having worked with both his predecessor and him, just huge breath of fresh air. Really difficult job. This building at times feels like it's falling apart at the seams. So, Joey, you crush it. And his woodworking is displayed right there in the golf shop. That pro shop counter is Joey's handiwork. So a couple updates. Christmas sale went really well this past Saturday. We surpassed the 2021 numbers by about 16%. So a nice healthy increase overall. And while that's not a highly profitable venture for the club, it's a sale, it's discounts, but good engagement with the members. And a lot of people showed up and attended, and good energy. And we certainly appreciate that. Couple updates as well. So a little reminder on the 2023 golf policy changes. Potentially most importantly, that 14-day booking window. So as we come out of the January closure into February, if we're playable, you'll see that 14-day booking window take effect. Something definitely to take a note. That'll be a change on all of your schedules. We'll continue to communicate that via email and website and all the other avenues that we have. And then GT&H, in conjunction with those policy changes, one of the other changes was our guest play initiative. So 8 guest rounds for just a regular guest and 12 for your family guests. However, that's something that we will be much more closely monitoring. As many of you know, that's been kind of a passive rule of 6 in the past. It'll be a much more enforced rule moving forward, but with a little more leeway there on your guest count. And then with that, GT&H will be taking a little closer look and dive into our posting percentages Last year, we came up with the regulation of the 75% posting percentage rule. Gave everybody some time to adapt to that, but that's something that we will actually have a much closer eye on moving forward as well. So big rules guy. Upcoming events. So 2023 event schedule's out. A couple of highlights. We won't walk through all of that here in person, but a couple of highlights and just notes on your own personal schedule. Men's Invitational is about a week later than it typically is. This is nearing the Open Championship. The Men's Invitational Committee likes that event to fall on Open Championship weekend. This year that falls about a week later. So 20th, 2nd, the Men's Invitational. Women's Invitational shifted quite a bit because of that week later. We didn't want that only a 2-week gap. So that's moved up to June 15th, 16th, and 17th for 2023. And then the Classic is now, for the last 2 years, the Classic's been played that first week of September. It is now the last week in August. So the 25th and 26th. So full schedule will come out, but I just wanted to highlight those key date changes. And then in our neck of the woods, definitely time to start buying. We've been buying for the last couple of months for 2023. The key part of our role there is stocking up. None of that happens quickly when you're looking at custom buys and everything needing to be custom to Perry Park. That lead time usually takes several months. So we begin that in October, really roll it all the way through February to make sure that we get some cool stuff for 2023. Any questions?
Good evening, everybody. Jason here. Just a quick update, course condition wise. We are going to continue to keep the golf course open as weather permits, kind of modified setting. What we're typically looking at is holes really 3 through 6 for sure, for the most part are playable. Then 7 gets pretty questionable if we do get high volumes of snow, 8 as well. 9 tends to be open, 10 tends to be open as well. And then jumping back over for a quick modified 15 from probably the forward tee. 16 probably will play as a par 3 from about 150 out. 17 and then obviously the modified 18. That's kind of how that works out as the modified loop in the winter time, pending snow. So we do have 1 to 3 inches forecast and some super cold temperatures on Thursday. I think the high is -1, the lows -14 for Perry Park, but then bouncing back to highs in the 50s on Monday. So that does impact construction. So we knew this was going to go slow. The phase 2, start of phase 3. Just because it's 50 degrees out during the day doesn't mean that frost layer is cleared in the ground and makes it hard on equipment. So a lot of stuff, especially pouring concrete, items like that get postponed. So built kind of into the schedule, so not overly a concern. New saw that's down on number 18 as the fairway. We've pressured up our winter watering system and hand watered that with using a modified sprinkler setup and hose setup. So we will continue to monitor moisture, on that sod because it doesn't have the roots. You know, those roots are still like sitting in that first 3/4 of an inch. It starts to root right now. One of the benefits to that area is that it does have a great southern exposure. So in the spring, that will kick in really quickly. We'll be happy with that, but it is a bit of a man-hour task sure to be hand watering that. But I would anticipate us doing that again next week. And then as Mike alluded to earlier, some top dressing on that to fill the seams in. And then in the spring, if anybody's actually walked on that, you'll see it's a little moguly, has some riblets in it. We'll roll that out. But you really can't roll fresh sod when it hasn't rooted yet, or you can shear it off and spread it apart. So that's really the update on the turf quality there. Staffing wise, we're kind of down to some 4 staff. We will benefit in 23 of a couple more man hours in the early parts of January and February to help with some of the vegetation removal that we have going on out there and open up some of those site corridors and the aesthetic of the rock, which Mike shared a slide of earlier. It's there's a lot of beauty hidden behind some of that vegetation. And what he did not share is this past week, we've been working on the left-hand side of number 1. There's a pretty awesome rock feature that's been hidden behind some scrub oak over there. So when you're out, if you get out over the next couple of weeks, just take a peer over to the left-hand side of number 1, and you'll be surprised at the exposure there. It's been something on the docket for several years now. and good for us to get knocked out this fall. You know, last year we did the drainage projects. The challenge becomes, once we do get snow, those areas hold snow the most because they're shaded the most. So it's something that you have to get into timing wise as quick as possible, or you miss your window, and then you come into spring and you've got a lot of other items to tackle. So, but that's really my update. Happy with where we're at. Had a really good season. Golf course got put to bed well, and just hoping for some snow now. One reminder for those playing, please try to maintain cart path only this time of year. With the limited moisture, it becomes more difficult and can really impact turf. Any questions?
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining virtually and in person. I love meetings like this when, things are going well and it's sharing your attention. I'm gonna soak it up. Right now, our full memberships are 198, non-equity at 2, corporate primary at 2, designees 15, junior at 30, centennial at 29, and professional we're at 60 cap. So we're going through the wait list. So that brings November 30th to cap 306. As far as November, we were able to acquire a full golf membership, 19 social, 1 social to upgrade to professional, and then a junior to full conversion. So those are all great news. As far as the FME, 275.7 to our 270 budget. So we're about 5 above for the year. Our initiation fees as of the end of November, we're at 12 for full, 6 for junior, 5 for professional, and 500 for social. As far as the breakdown of data, we are sitting right now at 561 memberships. This is kind of just more detail of the first slide. As far as this is kind of the budget slide, we've got our full number equivalents. So the light blue line on the second half of this slide is what we've done in years past. The dark blue line has been this year. So we're staying ahead of budget. We'll kind of see the history and how that kind of went through this year. As far as resignations, we did have 3 in November, 1 full, 1 professional, 1 social, but we were able to maintain our 60 cap, moving professionals off the wait list. As far as the year-to-date resignation, but golf, majority of them are due to moving, social moving as well, and then professional is also moving. So as far as the resignation percentages, this is some history of what happened last year. We are a little bit higher in resignations for November as opposed to last year, but we're looking good on resignations for December. This is a slide where we like to thank our members. We had a lot of new members join us, some returning members, a lot of chatter about the club, a lot of positive feedback. So our members listed right here were our November member families who were talking great about the club and got their friends and their neighbors to join. So we wanted to make sure to thank our members for the great acquisitions in November. As far as advertising, we still are on Instagram and Facebook. We're having a year-end special campaign that's going really, really well. We do have over 4,000 active leads in our email database. We sent successfully a postcard mailing to Larkspur residents, which really helped with the open houses that were very successful in November. We do have a half off social initiation fee only until the end of the month. That was pretty popular. Starting January 1, we're going to be staying at 500. If you haven't voted yet for the Teddy Awards, please do so. There is a link on the Member Central page, as well as in Fairway Views. Be interesting to see how that turns out, but you can vote for your club that way. All right, that's all the good news I have. Any questions? Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to second the comment from Keith that Joey is a great worker.
We really appreciate all your hard work right here. First off, I'd like to touch on the HVAC project, starting the project on the 3rd, which will be mainly kitchen staff getting all the equipment out of the kitchen, cleaned from top to bottom, and then relocated in different areas of the clubhouse for storage. And hope to have the club reopened by the 3rd is the projected time to open. Like I said, kitchen will be clean from top to bottom. We'll have all walk-ins, coolers, freezers, everything cleaned. And then project's done, we're gonna touch up the floor and get ready to reopen with ordering all the food, getting schedules put together and getting the staff back. Just a note, the men's locker room is closed for construction as of right now. We are putting new countertops, new sinks, new partitions, etc. Getting a new sewer drain put in down there. We're still going to work on portion of bids on stuff like that. Member events, I'd like to touch on all the holiday events. Oh my gosh, how good they went this year. It was probably the best year of all holiday events, my 6 years being here. Very smoothly ran. It's just all in all very, very well. We do have New Year's Eve bash on the 31st with live music from 7 to 10. We'll have food and drink specials, doing prime rib that evening. And then we'll have a balloon drop at 10 o'clock for New York City's actual New Year. Touching on staffing a little bit. First off, we'd just love to let everybody know, all the members, huge shout out from all the employees for the holiday fund this year, and not just hourly, all the directors and all the way up the chain. Just really appreciate that. It's a big time of the year for the staff. It makes them very happy and makes it feel like a holiday. We really appreciate that. During the January, a lot of the staff will be taking time off and just kind of relaxing and getting ready for the next year. That's what we got on the food and beverage side. Any comments, questions? All right.
Request of a member.
Yeah, can you, I think Brian's asked for a comment. Can you open that up for him?
Can you see me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank all you guys for giving your time to the members by virtue of your participation on the board. And of course, everyone working at the club, thank you. Jill and I would like to run the couples, Friday night couples in 2023. As most of you know, we ran it for 2 years before. And also we know this is a golf committee decision. We want to make it fun. We want to make it accessible to all members, old and new. No couples will be allowed to pick their own foursome. Never the same group will play week to or month to month. We want to have more winners and prizes for everyone. We will do all the marketing. We will work with the pro shop, food and beverage, drink cart we need, club management, and of course the golf committee. Once again, this is about fun, and also it's going to bring money in for the club. One thing about something that was mentioned earlier, cart fees for private carts. I think if you run the numbers, it would be more economical for the cart owners to actually go for the annual cart fees. That's just my comment. And also, I mean, if you want me to run the numbers and give them to you, I will gladly do that. And a reminder on the CAGI, I think we ought to send another email out on that, make sure everyone's reminded to vote. Other than that, that's all I have. Any question?
This is Dakota, and having participated in the couples play when you were in charge before, it was great fun. I'm so glad to hear that you're gonna run this again. Thank you.
Well, we had a lot of discussion about it. And actually we flipped the coin to see who would come on and make these comments. But thank you.
Right.
That's it on that. I hope that the golf committee will allow us to do it.
You're good to go.
You're good.
That decision's
All in
already.
favor?
That was easy.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Any other member comments out there? We've been trying to recognize some members that are kind of stepping out and doing some helping us out. I wanted to give some recognition to Gary Sonke and Mark Vanderstal. We've seen participation in our when we're voting. And it's important to have a quorum, and it's also important to have a majority of the members vote. We've kind of reached out to them and asked them, how could we get a bit more participation? And they've kind of written up a short little letter to us to think about how members take more responsibility to represent the club, speak up, and really appreciate the extra effort these two guys went through to kind of think through this and give us some suggestions to think about. So I'd like to recognize them for that. Open up if there's any other board members that want to recognize somebody.
Yeah, hi, everyone. This is Dan. So I guess I'd like to take this opportunity, first off, just to give you a quick update on the sale of what we call the land sliver, a little tiny piece of land, which is kind of behind Fort Greene and 5T. The buyers have been going through a process with Douglas County called a lot line adjustment. They've actually been working very hard on that. We have everything all set to go to complete that. We actually think that we will complete that closing by the end of January. Okay, just the other thing related to that is all of the proceeds for that ballpark 30,000 will go to pay down our debt to UMB Bank, okay, which is part of our long-term note. In connection with that, I'd like to recognize Lee Richardson. As a lot of you know, Lee and Christie moved this summer and became out of area members, but Lee's been nice enough to shepherd this entire process. That I can assure you has taken up much more of his time than what he originally anticipated because of some of these wrinkles with this lot line adjustment. So I'd like to, the next time you see Lee and Christie when he's in town playing golf next year, please thank him for his efforts in connection with that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, well, with all that, there's no more comments. I call for close of the meeting.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So be it. Everybody have a great holidays.
And I understand we have to go out